A goal without a plan is just going to be another wish for you and your business. So if you're looking to grow to 7 or 8 figures, how are we going to get there? My name is Sam Queen, aka The Close Doctor, and I help phone-based sales teams with high-ticket offers streamline their processes with my systems-based selling strategies. A lot of coaches, consultants, agency owners that we do work with will come to us and say, hey guys, I don't have a sales plan or a growth strategy, or what even is a sales plan and why does my business need it? In this video, we're going to cover those topics along with the essential components that should go into your sales plan in order to help take your business to another level. So a sales plan is really just going to be a roadmap that is going to outline the steps that happen or take place in your sales motion. Sales plan is usually going to tell you our goals around how many sales we want to make each month, who and what are we going to be selling, how does our sales process actually work, and how are we going to repeat that? How are we going to keep finding more people to take through this process so we can sell more of our thing? So with these details inside of a sales plan for us, we're going to be able to quickly identify where there's opportunity for growth for our business, what kind of droughts or pitfalls that we currently experience, or where we can really start to improve on our sales plan, on our sales process. And that's exactly what we do here at Close Doctor. So if you're looking to have your sales plan built, your sales process mapped for you, click the link down in the description to book a call with me or someone on my team. So now that you have a general idea on what a sales plan is, you probably want to know, do I even need a sales plan? I didn't start hearing that word until I started working with businesses that are multi-8-figure businesses. We put a sales plan together. So what about me and my 5-figure business or my 6-figure business or my 7-figure business? Do I still need a sales plan? But here's the thing, a sales plan is going to be essential for you if you want to set clear, time-bound expectations on what revenue needs to look like for you and your company. When you actually set these clear, time-bound goals, your sales team can start to look at them and figure out, okay, how do I get there? I know I close at 10% based on these goals that we have. I need to have that many units times 10. I need to have that many more leads to talk to. So what does my process need to look like to get 10 times as more leads compared to the 20 units that have been set for me as a goal for this month? How can I get 200 leads? Well, I know I can get leads through LinkedIn. So what do I need to do on LinkedIn? How many message requests do I need to send per day? That goal is going to help start peeling back layers of the onion for what that part of your sales plan should look like. Which leads into the number 2 essential part about what a sales plan is going to do for you, and that's going to help you allocate resources. So how many salespeople do I need on my team? If one lead or one sales rep can only talk to 200 leads in a given month, they close at 10%, so they're going to close 20 units, but we have a 100 unit goal for us as a company. I know I must have 5 sales reps. So if I project and I start looking at the growth of my company over the next 3 months, over the next 6 months, over the next 9 months, over the next year, and I see how my leads are going to be climbing and increasing on this sales plan, on this growth plan, I'll start to be able to know, hey, I need more sales reps 3 months from now. So that means 1 month from now, I need to start my hiring motion. So you can see that this resource allocation is going to stem outside of more than just your sales resources, but how does HR and admin and finance and marketing need to actually work together with what the sales plan is telling us in order to achieve that revenue goal that we set. And when we look at those 2 essential pieces to building a sales plan or benefits of building a sales plan, we come to the last one, and that is we can actually build action. We can start taking action. We can create line items and objectives and key results, sprint items if you work in a sprint format in your business. But we can build that list of action that we need to check off. If I know I need to talk to 200 leads this month, I know I need to send 1,000 LinkedIn requests. How can I start sending 30 LinkedIn requests a day? What does that look like? And how do I start actually putting that into action for my business? So the first step you need to take when it comes to building a sales plan is actually to start with the end in mind. And that is, what is the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? If it is that we want to do 20 units over the course of the next month, what KPIs, what other metrics are we going to be tracking along the way to make sure that we hit those 20 units? Now, I actually break down what metrics and KPIs are important to a sales process in another video right here that I'll also link in the description for you. And the next step to building a sales plan for your business is going to be to take that first step, that goal, that end, and break it down into milestones. So what milestones do we need to focus on and achieve along the way? How can we start putting action into those milestones so we're just taking one step at a time versus feeling like we're sprinting towards the end? And these milestones should be challenging, but also motivating to your sales team. If you're setting pie in the sky goals that are unachievable, it is just going to demoralize your team, the environment that they live in. It's not going to create that culture that you're looking for. So sit with your sales team, ask how much bandwidth that they have, ask what they're doing, have them do a time audit and to let you know, tell you where they're spending their time right now. Hey, in my 8-hour day, 20% of my time is spent on new sales activity, on booked calls. Another 20% of my time is spent on building new prospecting lists for cold outreach that I'm going to be doing. And the remainder of my time is all spent on follow-up and admin. So if you can actually have your team give you an audit or a time audit, an activity checklist on where they're focusing their efforts right now, you can start to look into those areas and see, how can I optimize this person's day? What can I do to help this person, my sales rep, save time in their day? And the next key point to building your sales plan is really going to be understanding and identifying who your customers are. So maybe you've heard the saying, when you try to create something for everyone, you end up creating something for no one. And that's why you hear so often, make sure you niche down within your business so you can set really clear messaging. Now, for a lot of businesses just starting out, it's really hard to figure out what that ideal avatar, that ideal customer looks like. So take the person that's closest there. If your mom is the closest thing you've ever had to a customer for your business, target more people that look like your mom. Now, if you have existing customers and you're not sure what they look like, talk to them. Ask them if there are underlying questions you don't have answers to in your business. Hey, I don't know if they like when I use this word or this word. I don't know if they like this part of the program or this part of the program. I don't know where they found me. Did they find me organically? Did they find me on Facebook, on YouTube, on Google? Just ask them. Surveying your customers is such a valuable thing that you can do in your business. The next thing you're going to want to do when crafting your sales plan is to actually map out what that customer journey looks like through the marketing and sales motion. This is exactly what we do. Close Doctor, like I said, there'll be a link down in the below to book a call if you want us to map your sales process for you. But once you have that process mapped, you can start to optimize for those different key points. You can put checks and balances in for those different key points of your sales motion. If you're not sure what your customer journey looks like and you do have customers, look at them. How did they get there? What ads did they click on? What websites did they click on? Did they book a sales call with you? Did they open emails? Did they reply to emails? Did they engage in your community? List every single thing that person did. And if you do that 10, 20, 30 times, 40 times, 50 times over with whoever your best customers are in your business, I guarantee you're going to start to find trends, and then you can start to build your sales process for those trends. And once you've taken those steps to building your sales plan, you can start to look at what does like your actual value proposition look like? What is your competitive advantage? Why do customers buy from us? What makes us different? How can we incorporate the answers to those questions inside of our sales plan to bring more customers across the line? That's that niching down component that most businesses that if you're watching this, you're probably doing. You're probably focused on niching down. And remember that at the end of the day, customers are going to buy benefits, not features. So stop trying to sell the features of your product and service and start by selling the actual benefits or the outcome that a person's going to receive. Another component to building a sales plan is going to be the actual sales team component of them. I talked about the growth of if we need one sales rep per 200 leads and we need 1,000 leads in a month, then we need 5 sales reps. What does that look like? If you only have closers or account managers on your team, at what point in time do we need to start bringing setters into the picture? When is there opportunity for a setter or an SDR to actually do some triage work with low-hanging fruit with leads that have maybe no-showed or canceled or performed one step and became an SQL, but they're not enough of an SQL, a sales qualified lead for an account manager or closer to talk to? When do we bring that person into the picture? So this organization of your team component to your sales plan, and as you grow, as you scale, is going to be very important because, like I said, that's also going to influence your HR and your admin hiring timelines. You also want to equip your sales team with the right tools, the right CRM, right? We use close.com for all of our teams, maybe data enrichment tools or tools to build lists of leads from, like Apollo. And definitely you need some sort of internal communication software or platform for your team. All of our teams, we use Slack. I know other organizations that use Microsoft Teams. And the last thing here is to actually track and measure and adjust your sales and growth plan as needed. So if you wrote out all of the line items for what week one of your business is expected to look like. I expect to get this many leads, have this many conversations, sell this many people. And I know that with those many leads, I need to make sure I've got 5 sales reps on the team. After that week is done, come back to that and put in the actual numbers. What actually happened? We need to track this data, measure this data, look back on this data to see where we're trending. This sales plan, although you're building it and building a very strong foundation from it, this sales plan, although you're building it with the end in mind and starting with that very strong foundation now, 52 weeks from now, it might not look like that depending on where your business is at right now. It might look entirely different. Now, you're only going to know if it's going to look entirely different if you're actually tracking what's happening right now. So after you've built the plan and you know what the numbers look like for your organization, revisit the plan every single week or every single month to see how you're tracking along with that plan and make any necessary changes for the future that you may need to. So what are those 6 steps again for you guys to building your sales plan? Number 1 is going to be to start with the end in mind, setting goals, breaking those down into milestones, then really understanding what our customer journey, what our customer avatar looks like. How do we then define our value proposition for our marketing efforts, for our sales team? When we look at our sales team, how is that organized? What tools or resources have we equipped them with? And then lastly, number 6, bringing it all back together by actually tracking and monitoring that plan, that growth strategy that we actually put together so we can adjust where needed. That is all for today's video, guys. If you have any questions on building a growth plan or building a sales plan, please book a time with me or someone on my team in the link below. Thank you guys for coming again today and watching. If you like deep dives on topics like this, releasing 2 YouTube videos every single week, so you can like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to stay updated. Thanks.